Shabbos Daf Kuf Mem Zayin. Today's email comes to us from the famous Chazan, Do Farkas from Melbourne, Australia, who happens to be hosting one of the 100 locations of the worldwide Siyum on Masechtas Shabbos in Melbourne. And he says this year was a very sad Tisha B'Av. He had to sit on the floor of his shul, and not a single soul was there. 1,200 seats. He transmitted the kinos and the tefillah for Tisha B'Av, and then he remembered that during one of the shiurim we sang Rachem, and he was inspired, and on the spot he sang a beautiful rendition of Rachem. Thank you, Do, for the email. Thanks for hosting. The halacha is, if you have dust on your clothing, and you're makpid, typically you wouldn't walk out with clothing like that. For instance, it's new clothing, it's black, whatever the reason is, and you shake off the dust, you're chayiv, chatos, it's an isur d'oraisa. The Gemara tells a story. Ula walked in on these bachrim, Talmid Chachamim, shaking off the dust, and he says, "What's going on here? You're Mechal Shabbos." And the Rebbe said, "Don't worry. We wear these clothing with the dust. On the weekdays, we don't care." Very similar story. Abaye wanted to give Rav Yosef his hat, and it had a lot of dew on it, and he was debating, should he take the dew off? Not. Rav Yosef said, "It's not a problem. You can take it off because I'll wear my hat with the dew on it." Rav Yochanan says, if you wear a talus, like we put it over our head, but the rest of it is just folded on his shoulder, that's Issa d'Oraisa, so you chayav chatas if you walk out like that, because that's not how people walk. The same thing, if you take money, you fold it in some sort of linen and carry it like that, Issa d'Oraisa. If you take a kerchief and put it on your head, but put it on your shoulder, that's normal for a kerchief, and it's mutter. Hyrcanus, the son of Rebbe Lazar, the Gemara tells us that Rebbe Kiva, he worked for many years, 3 years, by Rebbe Lazar, and the reason why Rebbe Lazar didn't pay him is because he made a neder against Hyrcanus. This is the Hyrcanus. Hyrcanus would walk around with this kerchief, but he had a string tied to his finger just in case it falls off. He shouldn't be over his deraisa. And Chacham said, you don't have to worry about it. With a kerchief, you don't have to tie, you can just do it as is. Says the Gemara, it's also to make a marzev, a gutter on your clothing, meaning the bottom of your coat, don't fold it up so it looks like a gutter. However, the Gemara tells us a yesod. If you're going to do this gutter temporarily, just so it should look good, then it's okay. If it's permanent, then it's asur. Some say that Rebbe himself put a talus on his shoulders, and Chachamim told him, the Rameir said it's asur, and he took it off his shoulders. The Gemara says it's not Pasha that it was Rebbe. Maybe they asked him the question. The Mishnah tells us that it's mutter to bathe in the hot springs of Tveria, not so much so with a hot tub in a cave. But the point of the Mishnah is that a single person is permitted to use a towel to dry himself off, but he should not take the towel even if it doesn't have much liquid. He used 10 towels. He shouldn't take it home. We're concerned he might squeeze it and be over on schita. However, 10 people who used one towel, in other words, there's a lot of liquid in there, we're not concerned. They'll remind each other not to squeeze it. According to Reb Shimon, Rebbe Shmuel, Rabbi Yochanan, it's 100% mutter to take your towel home, and that's what you see today. People carry the towels after the mikvah on Shabbos morning. And if it's asur to take your towel home, says the Gemara, you take your towel, you put it in a shelf in the mikvah. Do not give it to the mikvah attendant, because he's chashod, he needs to use towels over and over. He'll squeeze it out and give it to the next person. According to Reb Shimon, it's mutter to take a shower on Shabbos, even with hot water. According to Rameir, it's asur even in cold water. And Rabbi Yehuda makes a pshara. He says it's asur in hot water, mutter with cold water. When you're in charge of the mikveh, you bring large towels to the bathhouse on Shabbos. So it's preferable if you wear the towel as is. Now, if you're concerned that the wind might blow it off, so you can make like a knot that's mutter in front of you, like they do on Simchas Torah. You take the two front and you make a tie. If you must bring clothing on Shabbos through Rosh Hashanah for the non-Jewish army, you have no choice. But you have a way to do it better. Wear the clothing like that, you'll be over less of an isser. But you don't have to tie it. Says the Mishnah, if you want to give yourself a massage and anoint, do it differently than you do it during the weekday. So first you put on the oil, then you give yourself a massage. Rebbe Yochanan says the way to do it with the shinui is you do the massage with the anointing at the same time. Don't give yourself a vigorous massage. Don't stand on the bottom of the river called the Mumsus, because this Demusus has the ability to heat your body up and heal your body. But it only has that ability 21 days out of the year. The Gemara's Mesubik, does it start on Shavuos or ends on Shavuos? The Gemara tells us very interesting that the very good wine of Prugis and this natural water of the muses is what caused Aseret HaShvatim Leilenu to disappear. They indulged in materialism, and that's what caused their demise. And the Gemara tells us that Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, who was the greatest hamler of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he indulged in these waters. He was waiting for his friends to join him. Instead, he got involved in these waters and he forgot all his Torah. And he started reading, instead of saying, he said, Hacheresh Hoyo Liba. And Chacham realized that he forgot his Torah and they davened for him, and it came back. And from here the Gemara says, you see, it's better to go after your friends, have a goylul makom Torah, rather than wait for them to come to you, even though you're greater than them. You don't scrape your skin with a megareres. It's a tool that scrapes off skin. Rav Shimon Gamliel says, if it's mud or waste, then of course you can take it off on Shabbos. Says the Mishnah, you don't go into Nahar, this river, Kardima, because we're concerned you might slip on the mud on the bottom. Says the Mishnah, do not do afiktizin, which means don't induce vomit, and that's with medicine, but you're allowed to put your finger in your mouth and cause that. Rabbi Nechami says even during the weekday, that's also, that's baltashchis. You're allowed to swaddle a baby on Shabbos. The Mishnah says it's also, meaning you're not allowed to straighten out its spine, unless it's the first day after the baby was born. Have a wonderful day.